Da 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 da. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum. What's up, party people in the house?
What up, though?
Welcome to Texas Live, one of the sexiest voices in the SFL,
Mr. Master.
Dave Axis. What's up, party people with the SFL? What's going on? What's happening? What is cracking? This Tuesday night, what's going on? Glad to see all the party people in the house. We'll get to you guys in just a minute. We've got a packed house tonight. We've got a great panel. We've got a lot to talk about, including a few off-topic things that we'll get to in a few. Let me adjust my microphone a little bit. How's everybody doing tonight, by the way? I see Fox in there being inappropriate as usual. And I'm sorry, you're going to hear me coughing a lot, clearing my throat a lot. I've been sick since the latter part of last week, and I'm still haven't gotten over it. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you guys can see my mug, my Knox City Soccer Club mug. What's up, Knox City? For the first time ever in the history of Access Live, in this mug is fucking tea. And when I say see you at the teas, this is not what the fuck I meant. I'm drinking tea because I'm sick. Lisa, the lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa, made me some tea. But I got to tell you, when it comes to tea, I agree with Ted Lasso. This shit is garbage. I hate it, and it tastes like crap, and I hate it. But it's supposed to be good for me or some crap, so I guess that's what I'm going to do. What's up, Dougie? Love you too, bro. All right, here's the other thing. Here's the other cool thing. Ready for this shit? I don't have to travel tonight. So we could be here as long as we want. We could be here till 11, 11:30, midnight. Fuck, we can bring in Wednesday together if you guys want it. It does not matter to me. I may not have the energy to do it. Yes, I am. Look at that. You like that? I'm like in the Matrix and shit. Bo Martin Jr. has left his trace here on Access Live for sure. Let me get back up here. All right, let's kill this intro stuff for a minute. I got to get all this stuff off of here. Let me clear this out. And then let's do this. Hey, Fox, did you see? I fixed the week. It's week 9 on the scores, bro. What's up? I did that just for you. None of the other 200 people who watch this show. It's all for you, bro. Let's see here. Where am I looking? There we go. That's what time it is. It's time to get to the party people. So let me scroll all the way back here. What happened to Dave's arm? I could tell you where my arm is, but this show's not that bad. I don't want to get that censored. All right, let's check out the party people. The first person in the chat tonight is Smart Ass Pseudo Nakai, followed by Nate Hall. Zach Holdorf's in the house. Jaden Swift, what's up? Haven't seen you in a minute. I haven't seen you since, I don't know, last night. We'll get to that in a minute, though. The lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa is always in the house. Good to see you. David Leathers, the man with the best first name in every single league that I'm in with him. Guy Clausen, good to see you, buddy. Bullet Boletsky's in the house, folks. Tyler Falk is here. It looks like Boonberry's here again. Boonberry's still working on that thing for you, by the way. I've been kind of under the weather, so all that shit's been on hold for a minute. Let me see here. The Brone Frossel. Dude, have you been here before? I feel like I've said your name before, but I don't know who you are. So in the chat, let me know who you are. I said Guy Kloss already. Fox Highwind, of course, is here. Viva La France is in the house. Good to see you, bro. Daniel, Kelgate Collections. Daniel, I think there's a bullet point about you tonight, bro. Hope you're doing better, though. J Bomber 3 is back. Good to see you. Let me see who else. T to Queen. What's up, T? Oh, look, another T. Look at, we're at the T's. I'm drinking tea. T is in the chat. We got T's all over the place. Who else we got here? Stream Elements keeps popping up. I don't know who that guy is. Hello. Doug Day, of course. Dougie, good to see you, buddy. Shut Up Kanye's back. Good to see you. James Walters, 87. Is that it? Is that everybody tonight? Not very many people. Dion Hawkins in the house. What's up, Dion? Good to see you, bro. And I think that's it. If I missed you, go ahead and at me in the chat, and I will. I'll throw you a shout out because that's what we do here. That's how we roll. All right, let's get on to the panelists for tonight. Tonight's panelists, we have four. We have three panelists, and then of course our surprise guest co-host. Our surprise guest co-host, I believe it's been on once before, maybe, but our second. What's up, DR Sim? How you miss a? Dude, your name wasn't there, bro. I don't know what to tell you. You got to chat. You got to chat, man. You got to say something, and then I'd be like, "Hey, DR Sim, what's up, bro?" That's how it works, man. Our second, the person in the second circle has never been on the show before. I don't think in any capacity. So that'll be fun tonight as well. So hold on a second here. Let me drink my nasty, disgusting tea real quick. And then let's get on to the panelists. In circle number one, he's been here many a time, and he has a record, or I don't know if it's necessarily a record, but he's done something on this show that nobody's ever done before in the history of Access Live. And he did it just last week, so I had to bring him back so we could see what he looks like without his beard. Welcome back, Nate Hall. Nate, why is it all dark all of a sudden? It was nice and bright before. There you go. There you is. Look at that clean-shaven Nate Hall without his crazy-ass beard, shaved down the middle and the whole 9 yards. Nate, what's up? How you feeling, bro? Oh, my God. Are you muted, bro? Are you muted? Oh, my gosh, Becky. Look at his mute. You're muted, bro.
Yep, I was muted. I was the first one tonight to be muted, bro, and it wasn't Tyler. It wasn't, yeah, well, you guys already know there you go. I just ruined everything.
Yeah, way to go. Anyway, so how you doing? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. Hey, look, so you and a couple other people that's been on the show wear hats, right? So I was like, I got to be in the club. I got to wear a hat tonight.
You have to be in the hat club.
I gotta be in the hat club, so I went and grabbed my Afghanistan war veteran hat. So
nice.
I'm wearing a hat tonight.
Good
clean
deal.
Shaven.
Dude, you're like a whole different person. You're like a whole different person this week.
Yeah, whole different person. Plus, I got done with my first weekend of SSF ever.
Yeah,
so,
we'll talk about that in a minute. Hold on. Hey, so let me answer DR Sim real quick. So DR Sim, that's kind of true. So what I do is when I mention the party people, I first go through the people that have chatted. Then later in the show, I'll go over to the little tab and I'll start calling people out who haven't chatted that are trying to stalk and stuff like Hacker did a couple weeks ago. So that's kind of what I do with that, bro. But I try to give the props to the people that are in there chatting first. That's kind of my thing. Fear Dog is in the house too with us now, finally. Good to see you. And I think that's all. And Nate Hall, I don't know if I called your name in the chat, but Nate Hall's in the chat in case you were wondering. All right, Nate, welcome back to the show, bro. Let's move on to guest number 2. This is a gentleman here. I was trying to stalk myself. See, and then what happens, DR Sim? I didn't call your name, and then you're like, "What the fuck, Dave?" And then I called out the stalkers. See, that's how I bring you guys out, man. Let's see here. Guest number 2. He is a guy who's never been on the show before, like ever. I don't think he's ever been on Voice either, but we will find out. Boomberry, we'll see. I say it's 50-50 at this point, especially with my head being all fuzzy tonight. He's never been on the show before as far as a panelist goes. He may have called in before. I don't remember, but we'll ask him when we introduce him. I'm not very happy with him because not only did his team beat us this season, but he totally left me hanging last week because he was supposed to be on the show, and then he bugged out at the last second. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Las Vegas Fury, Justin Reside. Justin, what's up?
Oh, Dave, you had to beat me up like that? Come on. We're Western Division.
Well, I mean, you're going to come on my show with an ugly sweatshirt like that. What am I going to do? Justin, welcome to the show, bro. Have you ever even, called in or anything?
No, I haven't. I've never been on the. I've been in the chat before for Access Live, but
Right.
never been on the show.
But like back in when we used to have like Access After Dark, you never called in or any of that shit.
No.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, welcome to your first show. Appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
And second of all, we'll talk about Vegas in a little bit, but congrats on just a great season so far.
Yeah, thank you, Dave.
Yep. Thanks for being here, bro.
Yep.
All right, folks, in the third and last circle, I don't even know why I even bother anymore. I'm just going to do this because, I mean, fuck, he's here every week. He's here every week. And even though he talks funny sometimes, I just like to welcome back to the program Nate Hall, everybody.
Oh, okay. Since you've done that, you have lost the privilege for me to do this. Yeah, you betcha. Yeah, don't you know now?
Shit, here we go.
All right, Dave,
great.
I've got three things to get off my chest real quick. Hashtag Eddie Gage. One, Angry Orchard Sinful is a very, very poor man's fireball. Like, dirt poor.
Okay.
Dirt poor.
Okay.
Anywho. Two, condolences up to my folks in Duluth. If you haven't seen or heard the news lately, snow up in the northern part of the states has gotten well over 100 inches of accumulated snow. And just this afternoon, early this morning, a portion of the Duluth Mall collapsed under the weight of said snow.
Ooh, were there people in there?
No, it was before hours. So
thank God.
From at this point there are no injuries, that kind of stuff reported, but that's what they got up in Duluth. Third thing, to my more often than not regular broadcast partner in the SFL, Mr. Brett Solberg celebrated his birthday today. So a very happy birthday to my favorite partner and great friend, Brett Solberg.
And his name in Twitch is like Bayou something, right? What's his Twitch name? Do you remember? Because he's in here a lot. I don't expect him to be in here tonight on his birthday. By the way, speaking of birthdays, yesterday was Ray Colson's birthday too. So happy birthday to Ray as well. He's like Bayou City Chef?
Bridge City Bird.
Bridge City Bird.
That's
Mike St. Green.
City is Mike St. Green.
That's right. I get them mixed up.
Bird City is.
I get them mixed up like I get Nate and Tyler mixed up. By the way, we're only a few minutes in, and Guy Clausen already has the comment of the night. Welcome to the program, Nate Falk. So here we go.
And you even spelled Falk wrong. So we're going to hell.
This is how we do it. This is what we do, baby. This is what we do. I don't know what to tell you.
I have to drink my poor man's fire.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got about 30 seconds to start throwing your guesses in. Who is tonight's surprise guest co-host for, what is this? Episode 9 of Season 20, Access Live. I see Charles, Ray, Cam, No, and No. What else we got? You guys throwing guesses out there? Let me see. I'm still trying to find the proper button. Doug Day, nope. Been here, done that. Eagle Mondavi's fermenter. Gunny, no. Let me see here. Where is that? If I don't find the button, well, none of us will ever know. Tyler Hall. It might be Tyler Hall. Demond. Ooh, that's a good guess. Eddie. Oh, maybe, right? He just had a good weekend. Jack Wall. Chad. Jack Wall, you always think it's you. Let me see here. Where's my little thingy here? Oh, there it is right there. Justin Axis. Dave Reside. Guy Clausen. Oh, my God. This is just getting terrible. You guys aren't even trying anymore. Nobody wants to win Axis swag anymore. It would be a surprise. All right, folks, here we go. In the guest host, I'm gonna drag out the announcement. I'm trying to give you more time. No, it's not you. I wish I was. Ooh, this is going so fast. Doug, Cam. All right, folks, here we go. No, why do you guys keep saying Cam? I already said no. It's not Cam. It's not Craven either. In the, what's it say? Oh, Liam. Dude, which Liam? I don't even know. I don't know which Liam you mean. Tonight's Greg Soto. Nope. Wish it was me, but I can't. Sorry, Jay. Soto? No, somebody already said Soto. Damn. All right, it's just stop. Just stop. Hammer? No, it's not Hammer. And you know what? Just for the it's not the other Liam either. I just want you to say both of them. Benji, no. All right, here we go, folks. Tonight's surprise guest co-host here in the bottom left-hand corner is a Hall of Famer. He is an SFL champion. He is an SFL MVP. And he is a former teammate of this guy, Dave Axis, right here. And I speak none other than Marcus Dunhill, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus Dunhill in the house. Marcus, what's up? How you doing? How you been, bro?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me back on the show. Happy to be here.
Now, this is your second time, bro?
Yep, I believe it would be the second time.
You were on. You came on. Gosh, I don't know, a couple seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, when I did like an SFL front office show or something like that. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
He's saying, yeah. He's like, Dave, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, but I'm
It's
just going to agree
been
with
a
you.
little while, yeah.
No worries at all, bro. Hey, welcome back, and I appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here.
All right,
Hi,
folks.
everybody.
I don't think anybody guessed it except I saw Holdorf throw it out there, but Holdorf already knew, so that was bullshit. So Holdorf, I don't know why you do that, because you know I'm not going to send you any swag, even though I just sent you swag. In the Access Live server, I just posted it yesterday or today, maybe. I don't even know. Oh, here's Holdorf DMing me. What's he saying? No, dude, I saw your name too, bro. Don't try to pound it off on Charles. You know what? Holdorf always trying to blame other people for his problems. Typical Holdorf. Anyway, let's get back to the show. Real quick, I need to do a little side note before we get into bullet points. As you've mentioned, or as you've noticed before, and as I have mentioned, in the Access Live server, we have the goals. Goals is in there, the hockey league, as well as the SSF now, the soccer league. So we've got their scores, their schedule, the results, things like that in there. And this weekend, the SSF kicked off with their Federation Cup tournament, and I just have to let you know that Knox City won the entire tournament, and Nate Hall is a little upset because he plays for some other team. But anyway, if you're into soccer or you're into hockey, jump in the Access Live server. You can check out their Discord servers are both listed in there. And go Scruffies. Look at that. I got the Knox City hat. I got the Knox City mug. What's up? What's up? Although I got to say, I don't know if you guys remember, was it Doug Britton sent me the Goals hat, and the Goals logo was bigger, and this one came out like really small. I don't know what the deal is with this spread shop thing. I might have to take my business elsewhere. We'll see. Now, all that being aside, real quick, Federation Cup champions. Go Scruffies. All right, let's get back to the SFL. We kick every show off with bullet points, and that brings in my main man, Bullet Boletsky. Bullet, what's going on, bro? How you been?
What's going on, Dave?
Nothing. I'm trying to talk without drinking this nasty tea, but it's just not working well, man.
I'm actually a little under the weather myself, so I feel you, dog.
All right, perfect. Well, so you got how many bullet points tonight, man?
Got 7 this week, sir.
Okay, that's not bad. That's right in the middle somewhere, I guess. Last 2 shows have been they've been shit shows, let's be honest. So I'm surprised you only had 7. So let's see what you came up with from last week with the whole Nate Hall shaving his beard and people mixing up names.
Yeah, you and Nate are all over this one.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Shocker. All right, let's go. Bullet point number 1.
Number 1. For the last few shows, Dave has been telling us that he has to travel right after the show ends as an excuse to try to prevent the show from running long. No one is buying that you're traveling at 11 p.m. every Tuesday night, every week, Dave. You're better off faking being abducted by aliens. It's more believable. We all know you're old as dirt and just need your beauty sleep, or you have been having some weird-ass Dave name cult seances after 11 p.m.
I cannot.
Pick your poison.
I cannot confirm nor deny the last part of that. Let's move on to bullet point number 2.
Number 2. Daniel Wright was a panelist and told us that he had broken his knuckle in a gnarly basketball accident. But SFL insiders have speculated that Daniel actually mutilated his own hand after appearing on Dave's show a few weeks ago. WTF is going on in Dave's studio? Why does he now have a fake background during his broadcast? Why have there been long icicle wine chillers mysteriously showing up in locker rooms of several teams? Did Dave actually start the Dave name cult? Stay tuned.
Hey, bro, you know what? Those icicle things are from like 2 seasons ago. You had to dig deep on that one, bro.
Hey, man, they still haunt me, my man. So,
hey, real quick, the lovely, amazing, perfect Pink Lisa in the chat coming to the defense of her man. In Dave's defense, it's totally my fault. Damn business meeting scheduled Wednesday morning. See, Bullet, you better check your sources.
I think my sources are solid. I think Pink Lisa, God bless her, is just defending her man. So
Oh, something like that. Something like that. All right, bullet point number 3.
All right, number 3. Challenge Nate to shave his beard live on the show, and if he did, he would invite him back to the show anytime Nate wanted. In the chat, we openly debated whether this was actually a reward or a punishment. Punishment won by a mile, Dave.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you. You know, we try to keep things fresh around here, and I don't know. I mean, we've done 138 shows, and nobody's ever shaved their beard off. So, I mean, you know, we figure we give it a shot. Fortunately, the ratings show that we won't be doing that every week. Hey, real quick, Jack Wall. I'm not denying that. All right, bullet point number 4.
Number 4. After I finished singing my rendition of Turn Out the Lights last week, in the chat, Jack Wall said that I have beautiful pipes and that he would clean my pipes any day. Fox Highwin added that he liked organs. I don't know what it is about your show, Dave, but there seems to be a lot of folks interested in my pipes lately. I'm not sure if I should thank you or run the other way.
I think, first of all, I think you should run the other way, and second of all, there's something about Fox Highwin in the chat and being I don't know, he's always fucking things up. I don't know what to say. All right, bullet point number 5, inappropriate. That's the word I was looking for.
Let's just say he's a provocateur.
He is a provocateur.
There you go. All right, number 5. In a 5-minute span, Dave mistakenly called Nate Tyler at least 5 times, and this happened several more times throughout the rest of the show. The theory circulating to explain Dave's alarming brain farts is that the shelves that he had been allegedly working on for the last 9 weeks actually fell off his wall and clunked him on the head, or he has been sniffing a little too much of that industrial strength carpenter glue. Whatever the case is, I think we can all agree that Dazed and Confused Dave is way more fun than regular Dave.
Oh, yeah, I think you missed a golden opportunity to call it Dave and Confused, but
damn
it! You know what? All right, hey, we're gonna start the show over in a minute. While Bullet gets his act together, dude. Hey, so let me tell you real quick about what's going on behind me here. What happened was, like a lot of projects do, both in the government and construction, whatever, sometimes funds get diverted to other projects. And what happened is the guy who was going to do this is now building us a new deck instead, and then he's going to get back to this afterwards. So it's going to be a little while till you see anything new behind me. So just get used to the nice little matrix shit that I've been doing. That's probably going to be the rest of the season. Bullet point number 6.
Okay, number 6. Watching Nate attempt to shave his Amish Mafia beard off was as bizarre a segment as we've ever seen on Access Live. We couldn't hear the electric shaver, so it looked like Nate was mime shaving. His screen was so dark that it looked like he was broadcasting from a broom closet, and the level of difficulty he seemed to have shaving off his beard led many to believe that he was either high AF on edibles or that he had absolutely no idea how to use an electric shaver. Well done, gents. This is clearly the content the SFL has been begging for.
That's right. Ratings record last week, folks. Ratings record. Unbelievable. All right. And last but not least, bullet point number 7. Oh, we're going there again.
7. We are going there again. Nate tried to pull off a Matrix-level move and attempt to actually pass off some of the remnants of his botched shaving attempt to Tyler through Tyler's screen. I'm not sure if it was more surprising that Tyler actually put his hands up to resist the short and curly pile of hair, or when he said in the chat, I have enough hairballs as it is. Too many jokes here, so I'm going to just let it ruminate as is.
Yeah, that was, you see, the because of that bullet, I had to separate them. You see how I had to separate them? I had to put Justin's the adult here tonight. He's the one making sure that these two don't get out of hand.
Well, if Nate manages to put something onto Tyler's screen now, that guy is absolute magic. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bullet, pleasure as always, bro. Appreciate you putting these together and coming on the show week to week. We'll see you next week, man.
Thanks, Dave. Take it easy.
All right, bro. All right, folks. We are gonna jump into these power rankings. We're gonna do things just a tad different. I had a little text conversation with Hunter today. And what we've been doing is we've been taking the week the power rankings of the week that just played, and and then asking the panelists how they think things are going to look in the ones coming up, later in the week. We're going to throw a little twist on that. We're still going to do that, but then we're going to add something to it right afterwards. So let me do that first. Nate, let me start with you. As you see these power rankings going into week 9 that we just played, what changes or what change? Just do one. We'll have everybody do one. What change do you see or expect coming up later this week when they're released for week 10?
I hate to say it, but the way San Diego played against Arizona, we might drop a spot or two.
Yeah.
From 9 down to maybe 11 or 12. But that's just what I'm seeing based on what I'm looking at right now with the ranking.
Okay. Justin, what about you? And you can include the other 4 on the bottom all the way down to the 16th.
With the way you guys played against Arizona, I think going to drop to at least maybe, 11th. Or Vancouver is going to move down, and Indianapolis is going to move up to the 11th spot or something like that. I would like, that would be a surprising move because Indianapolis beat Vancouver.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah, Indianapolis moving up, Vancouver moving down. I can see that. Tyler, what about you?
This is tough because, again, I like Justin's point. Indianapolis will definitely move up in the power rankings. One thing that probably hasn't been mentioned is Atlanta moving down after Minnesota's thrashing of them in the snow in Minnesota this past weekend. But the one team I see to probably maybe tumble probably to the bottom 4 will probably be Carolina after their loss this past week.
That's a good one, too. All right. Marcus, we'll wrap this part up with you. What do you see changing this week in the power rankings? Uh-oh. Are you muted, bro? Are you muted, bro?
Oh, no.
Shit.
Oh,
hey, and
no.
I
got too distracted about making sure I knew what I was going to say that I forgot to hit the button.
I don't have a muted, bro, for the co-host, so I'm just going to throw it on Nate. Nate gets it instead. So Nate, you can blame.
Too focused.
Yeah, you can blame Marcus for that. So Marcus, whatever you were saying, I'm sure it was phenomenal. But if you could repeat it for those of us who cannot hear over a mute button, that would be great.
So I was gonna say that I think it's too easy to say that Fort Worth is gonna go tumbling down with Carolina, but I think Tulsa's going up.
Oh, Tulsa's going up for sure. Real quick before I bring on the next slide, does anybody just maybe raise a hands? Does anybody think London or Louisiana or Indianapolis would jump into the top 12? Just 2 of you, 3 of you. Nate's not so sure.
One of them or all of them?
Just any of them. Any of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay. And then, well, we'll get to that in a minute. So what Hunter sent me today, and it's on Twitter, so everybody can see it, is the week 10 from his data, not from the coaches poll, not from the media poll that comes out later in the week. This is based just on his data. So based on this and the questions I just asked you, let's go back around again. Nate, do you see any surprises here, and do you expect anything different from the media and coaches polls?
I think Atlanta dropping down 3 spots might be a little harsh. Yeah, granted they lost big to Minnesota, but Minnesota is a strong team. But going from 2 to 5, I think you should only drop them maybe 1 or 2 spots, but not 3.
Okay, Justin, what about you, bro?
Yeah, I agree with Nate there. Just dropping Atlanta 3 spots to 5. Ugh, that's just.
After one loss, yeah.
So here's what's going to happen tonight. Justin's going to copy everything that I say, and then Tyler's gonna come up with his own saying, and then we're gonna have.
Next
Marcus.
Next time I'll have to switch you two. Tyler, what about you, bro?
Well, here's the shocker. I disagree with both of you because for the longest time when I was running NETMA, everyone was like, "Oh, they have less losses than the other team. They have less losses than the other team. Why isn't they above them in your NETMA power rankings?" Now, Atlanta's only lost once, guys. Atlanta's only lost once, and Mexico City, has lost twice,
Yeah.
which should mean that Atlanta is above them to be with the rest of the one loss teams. But just based on how thoroughly Minnesota was able to take Atlanta, I'm surprised that it's not swapped Minnesota over Atlanta here in the data poll. But it takes into consideration a lot more factors. I believe scoring takes into consideration, average yards takes into consideration, and it's all ranked and given a number like this on the output. So no,
Right.
I agree. Atlanta should be maybe even one more spot lower in this regard. But let's stop talking about Atlanta for a second. I'll quickly jump over and talk about another quick aspect that maybe should be flipped. Like we were talking about yesterday on the halftime show with me and Curtis for Monday night, the Cam and Paul Monday Night Spectacular. But this is gonna be a very, very difficult playoff system to begin with. We saw Tulsa miss out at 7-5 last season. We might see two teams miss out at 7-5 this season based on how everything is going. And so, even though it's tough to pick right now, Fort Worth and Indianapolis could easily be switched, in my opinion.
Yeah, so Jason France in the chat, and I'll remind everybody again before we go to Marcus. This is Jack's data. This is actual data. So those numbers. So if Atlanta drops, it's due to the data. Now later in the week, if the coaches poll and the media poll decide the same thing and it drops, then we can definitely debate that. But Marcus, I mean, to be honest with you, even by the numbers, I'm surprised that Atlanta dropped so much. Do you see any of the surprises here from Jack's data by the numbers?
Yep. So my biggest surprise, I suppose, is I knew London was going up. They had one hell of a game last weekend. I did not. I thought they'd maybe go up 2, maybe 3 spots, but they jumped up a lot higher than I thought they would.
Excuse me. Yeah, they really did. They jumped up 3 spots from this, and then it'd be even more from the media and the coaches poll. So it'll be interesting to see what the coaches and media say later this week. But if you want to go by the numbers, and you are more of an analytical person, these are your power rankings right here. These are your top 16, your Sweet 16, if you will, with these top 12. Yeah, and I know the new playoffs are going to be coming out here in the next couple of days, and I wonder how these will match up with the playoff rankings too. We can talk about that next week. But before, let's move into our divisional breakdowns. Nate, you've got the North. You're kicking us off first. Huge win by London, which is probably the highlight of what you're going to talk about tonight. But what a game last night against Fort Worth, and a huge victory. By the way, that London victory helped keep San Diego in the playoffs for now. What do you got for us, Nate?
Yeah.
How did the North break down this weekend?
Well, 2 of the teams had bye weeks, which was Canton and Queen City. The North went 1-1. London won their game over Fort Worth, but then Motor City lost their game big against Mexico City. It was the 2 games that I'm going to talk about is contrast of the 2 quarterbacks in the North that played those 2 games. Johnny Pickler had a dynamite game against Fort Worth, went 37-47 for 78%, 463 yards, 6 touchdowns to go with his 3 interceptions. 2 of his wideouts went. One of his wideouts, Vincalio, went over 200 yards, 221 yards. Vincalio also had 5 touchdowns to go with those 221 yards. Robert Merrill also had 112 receiving yards, along with 43 yards on the ground. They were just no mercy against offensively against Fort Worth. An offensive shootout in that one for sure. However, in Motor City's game against Mexico City, Ibrahim Crieta on the opposite end of that spectrum only threw for 275 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He got sacked 9 times, and his top receivers were Shane Kaufman and Guy Clausen. Neither one of them went over 100 yards. Guy Clausen had 89 off 3 receptions. Shane Kaufman had 86 off of 8 receptions. Guy Clausen had both of the touchdowns that that created through. And they really didn't have a rushing game. Christopher Dean only had 15 yards on the ground, so really, Creator was trying to do everything on his own. And like I said, those 9 sacks really doomed him in the end, along with those 3 interceptions. And Mexico City was pretty much had Motor City's number all game. And 7 of those 14 points that Motor City did score was in the fourth quarter, pretty much in garbage time. So, just Motor City needs to find some answers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Marcus, before you ask Nate your question, I got a DM that night talking about what a blowout that game was, right? And then I saw the score, and I'm like, was it like 31-14 or something like that? I was like, that's not really a blowout,
Right.
Marcus, but 31-14, but I guess those 14 points all came in garbage time. So I'm guessing that it really
seven of them did.
Yeah, 7 of them did. Yeah, so I'm guessing it was a blowout, Marcus. I don't know. I don't know. Is Marcus muted again?
No.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. You got what's your question for Nate?
Yeah. So London made a major statement this week, beating the best SFL quarterback of all time. They have been on the rise while other teams have been trending downwards. London is up to 4-3 now. Canton is 3-4, but on a 2-game losing streak. Motor City is 2-6 on a 2-game losing streak. It looks like the division is going to be between London and Canton, with the momentum going London's way. London will play Motor City, Alamo City, Houston, Mexico City, and Canton. So they play Canton in week 14, separated by a single game. Assuming that Canton has the ability to beat London in week 14, that puts them tied depending on how the rest of the games shake out. Canton faces Houston, Fort Worth, Alamo City, and Queen City. Both teams have very tough matchups in the South. Does Canton have enough in the tank to take the division from London in the final week? Or has London shown their momentum and that they're just a step ahead?
I honestly don't think Canton has figured it out offensively yet to put all their weapons together in order for them to take the take the North Division quite yet from London. I think London's and Johnny Pickler at quarterback over there in London, they've got a stranglehold over there until Canton can show them otherwise. I just don't think that they have put everything together over there in Canton yet, and I just haven't seen enough out of Canton this season to make me believe that they're a playoff team and that they're a division winning team. When they lose, I should say, when they lose to a Denver team who's only won 2 games all season, with a 13-9 or 12-9 scoreline, whatever it was earlier this season, I don't think that's gonna really turn a lot of heads. And that might have been a different team back a couple of weeks ago, but they haven't done a whole lot better since then, in my opinion. And I really don't think that they're gonna take the division from London this season.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you a little bit there. I think this is now London's division to lose for sure. I think Motor City has shown that they're not gonna compete for the title. We know Queen City's not. Canton did have a good win over San Diego, but I think that's their only real big win. Oh, they did beat London though, right? They beat London, so it'll come down to the last week of the season. I think London will probably handle them as well. I agree with that. Moving on to the West, though, Justin, there's some games in here I don't really want to talk about, but it's been a competitive division. It's a great division still. But how did things go this weekend in the West?
Well, Vegas obviously had a fourth quarter pullout to Carolina, beat Carolina, and then Denver ran into some angry birds in Baltimore. That was a pretty good game. but it was Baltimore going away. And then Arizona just, I guess you say, what's the word? Shellacked San Diego 31.
I actually don't like that
31-7.
word, Justin. Come up with another one.
I don't know, blown out or what?
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible, bro. It was terrible. Go ahead.
Yeah, so interesting quarterback. I guess the best quarterback was actually Jackson, 27-36, 75% completion rating, and according to here, I wrote that Gene Struthers was the worst out of all the quarterbacks. 58.06 completion rating with 3 interceptions against Baltimore.
Careful, you guys in the chat. I can look up some of your losses too there, yo. Yeah, so Justin, did you watch the Arizona San Diego game?
Yeah, I caught the end of it.
Yeah. What was your take on what you saw? Actually, just give it to me straight.
Yeah, that was just. Can Benji catch a ball in garbage time, please?
Dude, yeah, Benji felt so bad. I mean, look at dude. Just a couple weeks ago, he had 3 touchdowns, and then he dropped. Everything about San Diego seemed off, right?
Yeah, everything seemed off. It's like when I follow the final score, it's like San Diego. This is not the San Diego we had. 4 weeks ago when we came to town, when Vegas came to Cone to San Diego.
It was the Vegas. What was the Vegas score again?
It was 41-28. Vegas over Carolina.
Over Carolina. And that was in Vegas or in Carolina?
In Raleigh, North Carolina.
Really? So were you surprised? I mean, Carolina's been pretty good this season. They've had some good wins. Were you surprised that you guys handled them so well in Carolina?
Yeah, I was surprised because I was expecting Eric Price to throw interceptions again, and I'm like 3 touchdowns and all.
Yeah.
And like Kirby and Doug Breen as usual getting all the touchdowns, and we couldn't even run the ball with Scott Johnson. He only had about 50 yards or something, weird number.
Yeah. And then Denver played who this, or did they have a bye? Were they one of the?
No, they played Baltimore. They got Angry
that's
Bird.
right. We talked about. Here's another question for you then, real quick, Justin. Everybody talked about Baltimore had their first loss 2 weeks ago. Then they had a bye, and everybody's like, "Oh man, whoever Baltimore plays next, be careful. They're going to get shellacked." What was it? 31 to what? 10, I think was the final. Oh, it just popped up on the screen. How funny is that?
31-10. You're exactly right.
Yeah, 31-10. Is that a shellacking enough? Is that what do you think that was what people were expecting, or do you think people were expecting more like a 45-0 beatdown after Baltimore came off a bye?
I think I was thinking like Baltimore was gonna put a 50 burger on Denver. They were so angry. They were so much Angry Birds.
Right.
It's like when you play the game Angry Birds, it's like you're throwing the birds at the pigs, and, and Baltimore was the birds, and Denver was the pigs.
Oh my goodness! Anything else from this division before we move on, Justin?
Not really much. No.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm ready to move on from this division. Let me tell you, anything to get me out of talking about that San Diego Arizona game, I'm down with. Although Arizona, congrats to Eddie Gage, 100th interception this weekend, the first one to 100. So congrats to him. Moving on to the East, Tyler, we just talked about Atlanta in the power rankings. Louisiana jumping up to teams with 5 wins now in the playoff hunt. Tell me about the rest of this division, including those 2 guys.
So the only bright spot in this division was my Louisiana Revolution this week. So I kind of feel a little happy about that. But we've got 4 teams to talk about. Let's go ahead and get started with Jacksonville. And unfortunately, for the 6th consecutive game, Jacksonville failed to deliver, and they let Los Angeles, who up until this point only had, I think it was one win?
Yeah, the week before
one
that.
Win prior
last
to this?
week. Yep.
It didn't look like it. It certainly didn't look like it. O.J. Bruin was seeing ghosts, almost literally 7 interceptions for Mr. O.J. Bruin. He was in duress all night, only sacked once, however, but just couldn't find a way down the field through the air. Only a 19-yard long pass in that regard. That was to Dill Swayze. However, good news on the running back front. 24 carries, 140 yards, and a touchdown for Sean Sanders, who got the lone score of the ball game for the words are hard for the Jacksonville Kings. So that's Jacksonville's bright spot. They did force one turnover out of the entire team. Actually, scratch that. They had 8 turnovers. I'm looking at a different game. Jacksonville had 8 turnovers.
You know what, Tyler? You just talk about whatever you want to talk about. Bro.
You know what? At this point, words are hard.
Words are hard.
I've had to throw away 2 beers because they've tasted like dog shit.
No wonder you're so messed up right now.
It's been a bad night. Anywho, so Jacksonville struggling, unfortunately. Los Angeles put the hurt on them. Let's go on to a more fantastic football game that I'll get to talk about twice tonight. So I'll just stop with Florida here on this one against Sioux Falls. Florida made a stellar comeback in that fourth quarter, 13 points to not only retake the lead a couple of times for the first and second times they would ever do it, but to do it in a way that would make them look competitive, right? They held time of possession, only 1 turnover, don't you know, and a substantial third down percentage, 53%. But Cochran wasn't the story for the most part. Yes, he got it going late, but early, a couple of early 3 and outs, a couple of just interesting play calls from Florida that just couldn't get the ball going. Charlie Boletsky was held to, I believe, under 30 yards in the first half on the ground, and the leading rusher at half was the quarterback for the opposing side during that football game. But the defense all of a sudden comes alive toward the end of that. Toward the end of the first half, Evan Carroll would eventually come away with 4 interceptions in the ball game, going to 3rd all-time, passing Enzo Bolt in the process. But that is where we'll leave off on that story for the Florida Storm. We'll pick that up toward the end of the show. On to that Louisiana Revolution being the only team in that East Division to come up with a victory. Seattle, just not enough to keep the Revolution down. The Revolution defense forced 3 interceptions, and someone called Mike Ryan forced a fumble, which was recovered at the 9-yard line of Seattle, which ended up leading to a field goal. Don't know who the Mike Ryan is, but he definitely has laid off the gelato recently. He's starting to play a lot better. Anywho, other than that, Tommy, Utah, 3 touchdowns, a solid completion percentage of over 80%. And the run game did all right, 100 yards combined between Collier and Squarebush. But the story of the day, of course, was the passing game. Liam Hammer with a couple of clutch touchdowns to really solidify the lead at the early part of the game. And all Louisiana had to do was coast. On to the shocker of this entire division. It was the Atlanta Swarm. Minnesota came away with all the time of possession. They scored 21 points in the first quarter, 17 points in the second quarter, and Atlanta just didn't seem like they could cope with not playing in a dome in the frigid cold and snow. We already talked about the snow early on in this broadcast, but Atlanta definitely are some snowbirds, as we like to call them, up here to North. Oh yeah, don't you know?
Don't you know?
Don't you know?
Dude, I swear to God, if I hear that in my sleep tonight, I'm haunting you, bro.
Don't you know you will now? Yeah, no, yeah.
Terrible. And when you say Minnesota, you really mean Canada South, right?
Southern Canada. Yeah. Oh yeah. I petitioned Brett Solberg to let us into the Canadian Union, but it hasn't really worked out that way. But we'll find out soon enough whether or not the appeal gets approved.
Where's the muted bro button? Where can I mute him? I'm almost afraid to have Marcus ask you a question, but Marcus, go ahead, buddy.
All right. Afraid of what I'm gonna ask?
No, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what he's gonna respond with.
Okay.
Oh, you sure about that, eh?
Yeah.
So I had a pre-planned question ahead of time because I knew I was going to be on the show, and then Atlanta messed up everything by losing. So originally I was going to ask who could beat an undefeated Atlanta team. I was kind of what I was trying to do was tee up a ball for Tyler because Atlanta and Louisiana play, so I wanted to get him into that. But then they went ahead and lost, and then I actually had to do some work and figure out a new question, which was unfortunate for me.
I hate when I have to work.
I was hoping I didn't have to do anything, and then I ended up having to do something. So, all right. So I had to think of a new question, and here's what I came up with. The focus goes now to Louisiana. So Louisiana now faces two of the toughest games of their season coming up. They face Atlanta in week 11 and Minnesota in week 13. Louisiana is currently 5-3. If you assume they win the games that are not those two and lose both games to Atlanta and Minnesota as tough teams, that would put Louisiana at 7-5. Is 7-5 going to do it if you lose both games? Or which of those two games do you need to win? Which one of those two games is your best shot to get in?
So here's the most unpopular opinion, especially coming from the Revolution locker room. If we lose both Atlanta and Minnesota, our strength of victory will not be good enough to get us in on 7-5. We will be the Tulsa of season 20 if we do not beat one of those teams. I am fairly confident. I can't remember. Do we play Atlanta at home, Marcus, or we play Minnesota at home? I know we only play one of those two at home.
I do not have that in front of me. I can look it up, though.
Okay. While you do that, either way, it's going to be a tough matchup. We saw Atlanta struggle in the snow this past weekend, and so playing Minnesota at Northwood Stadium will be a very, very tough test. And Atlanta at the Hive, that's even tougher. If we can get either one of them at home, it gives us some sort of comfort knowing we're playing at home. But I see us having a better chance against Atlanta rather than against Minnesota.
That'll be interesting. When you get that, Marcus, when you find that other information, just throw it out there. But we're going.
You get Minnesota at home, and you get Atlanta in. Sorry, you play in Minnesota. You get Atlanta in Louisiana.
Okay, yeah. So we stand a stronger chance. I'm not going to call it. We stand a stronger chance of beating Atlanta at home than we do beating Minnesota on the road.
Both those will actually be kind of tough, but we'll see. Which makes it fun down the stretch, especially Tyler. All right, Tyler, thanks for breaking down the East. Mark, let's move on to you, to my second favorite division in the SFL, my former home and your current home, the South Division. How did this break down this weekend?
This was an absolutely wild game. This was like three of the most ridiculous football games I'd ever watched, and I had to watch all three of them at once.
Just a time saver?
Oh, man, it was wild. So, not a time saver, but I had to watch all three of them back to back, and it was crazy football. There was not one boring game that happened. Mexico City took on Motor City, Alamo City took on Houston City, and Fort Worth City took on London City.
A lot of cities there, bro.
I know. So the first game I'm going to talk about is Mexico City and Motor City. Efficiency played a huge part in Mexico City this week, being able to win this game. They were able to move the ball through the air with plays on the ground when they needed it. Motor City, however, had a really tough time with the Mexico City defense, who sacked Motor City 4 times in the first half, ending many of their drives, leading Mexico City to take a 10-7 lead at halftime through a field goal and Nick Lockett touchdown. Major highlight for Motor City in the first half, though, was when Motor City almost got sacked at the end of the first half for their 5th sack. They were able to get the ball away to Guy Clausen for a 66-yard touchdown, which was awesome.
Nice.
But without that 66-yard reception, Motor City was at 24 passing yards and 14 rushing yards at halftime, which is incredible. That's the lockdown that Mexico City had on them at the half. Unfortunately for Motor City, the defensive pressure was not able to be accounted for, as they got sacked 5 more times and threw 3 interceptions in the second half. Mexico City's defense getting 9 sacks and 3 picks made all the difference in this one. Motor City was unable to come through with a win. They did make some great passes throughout the game to extend drives. They were even able to get an interception from Mexico City within the last 2 minutes and put together a nice drive for a touchdown. And if you thought that would have been the end of the game, you have not seen any SFL action before, because they were actually able to get an onside kick with 45 seconds left. However, they weren't able to get into the end zone, and they fell 31-14. They almost made it a 10-point game at the end of the game. They did make a really good effort at the end of the game to put points on the board, but just couldn't quite make it. The second game that I had to watch was actually a good time saver. Was a great time saver because it was Alamo City taking on Houston. If they had played separate games, I would have had 4 games to watch.
Yeah, right.
Alamo City Alamo City came into this matchup looking to keep pace with Mexico City. Houston, on the other hand, looked to right the ship and iron out their inconsistencies. Houston came out firing with a sack and an interception by Josh Rowe, putting the pressure on Alamo City as DR Sim scored the first touchdown of the game. Alamo City responded with a drive that ate up all of the first quarter and resulting in a Brad Jones touchdown. The teams traded possessions until Alamo City was able to get a field goal with 5 minutes left in the half. A 45-yard run from Houston and GP Wells set them up for a great 21-yard touchdown pass to Greg Corky on the following play. With a field goal right before half, Alamo City brought the game within 1 point at halftime. Both teams had a great first half and focused primarily on the passing game. Alamo City was not going to let the home team get an easy win and scored a 61-yard touchdown pass to Deuce Fennick in the third quarter. The game stayed close all the way into the third quarter with a Houston touchdown and Alamo City field goal. With 3 minutes left in the third quarter, we had a 2-point game on our hands, and this is where things started to get absolutely crazy if people watch this game. With 3 minutes left in the third quarter, the first play of one of Houston's drive, GP Wells ripped off a 75-yard touchdown run. And if you thought that was crazy, boy, do I have news for you, because they got the ball back, and on the first play of their next drive, a 70-yard touchdown run by GP Wells.
Wow.
So while it stayed within 2 points for almost the entirety of the third quarter, after 2 runs from GP Wells and a score from Mike St. Green into the fourth quarter, they ended up with a 19-point lead. To Alamo City's credit, they played a safe game with only a single turnover and attempted to come back in the fourth with a field goal and an onside kick recovery that they were able to make it an 8-point game. Houston was able to shut the door on a comeback with a field goal, though, making the game end at 45-35. Houston's big playability from GP Wells and the wide receivers won them the game, taking a game that was within 2 points all the way to almost a 3-score lead. And honestly, Alamo City really didn't do anything wrong on paper. If you take out those really big run plays, it was a really, really close game, and besides one interception, they made almost no mistakes. They just let up those huge run plays that tipped the scales of this one.
Well, what was the final? The final was only what? Was it 2 scores?
10 points.
10 points.
10 points.
Okay.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it was really close. If they've been able to manage those big run plays, they had a really good shot of winning that game because it was back and forth the entire game.
Yeah. So, question for you, Marcus. I'm looking at the standings now. Mexico City moves to 6-2. Fort Worth falls to 4-3, and I believe that puts Alamo City at 4-4. As Mexico City wrap this up, I'm sure that there's going to be a couple games down the stretch where these guys play each other. But do you think Mexico City's wrapped this division up already? And if not, who do you think's got the best chance to surpass them?
I hate to be that guy, but Mexico City has not faced Fort Worth yet. And we still play them twice.
Oh, you play them twice. Okay.
We play them next week in the final week of the season.
Because I think they already beat Alamo City, and I'm not sure how they fared against Houston. But if somebody knows differently, please correct me in the chat. So would you think? Are you implying maybe, Marcus, that this is actually now going to be a 2-team race with Alamo City dropping to 500?
I mean, Alamo City probably still has an outside shot, and I know that Fort Worth has lost some momentum by losing a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends on how well Fort Worth can do against Mexico City. If we can get a win or two against them, I think the division is still up for grabs. But I would definitely put my money on Mexico City at this point.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for breaking down the South, Marcus. Appreciate that a lot. Before we move on to the owner's box segment, we've got my main man Gunny in the house tonight with Gunny's Firewatch. Gunny, what's going on? What's happening? How you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good, Dave.
What's the latest, man? What's going on?
I had to make sure I got the unmute button before you said, "Hey, where are you?"
Gunny's the last person in the world that wants to be muted. I don't have a "you're muted" Gunny button, bro. I just have "you're muted," bro. Sorry.
Marcus, you did an outstanding job breaking down the South Division.
Real quick, before
Thank you, sir.
Gunny, before you start, DR Sim in the chat, I would say that it's a 2-team race with Mexico City winning it, and Guy Clausen saying the South Division is anybody's division. So 2 contrasting opinions in the chat. Gunny, I know you're probably already prepared and ready to rock and roll, so you can start whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I just don't see the South Division making all 4 teams in the playoffs this season. It's going to be tough, even making it to 7-5 this year and squeezing in the playoffs. So it's going to be an exciting last 4 weeks of the season.
Agreed. So what do you got tonight for Firewatch for us?
We're going to go and we're going to do a Where Are They Now? My fellow Season 14 non-contract signees.
Go ahead, Gunny. It's all you.
All right. And like I said, there is actually 45 of us that are still in the league that signed up between the months of January and March of 2020. And we've been in the league for 6 seasons. We're going to start off with Arizona signed TJ Punk, and he's still in Arizona. Next up, Atlanta signed Fox Highwind as a linebacker. He's now wide receiver at London. Baltimore signed Frank Smith, linebacker. He's still in Baltimore. Carolina signed David Harrell as a linebacker. He's in Seattle as an owner. Denver signed Brady Gulch. He's now in Portland as a linebacker. Florida signed Connor Weston as a running back. He's now wide receiver in Arizona. Las Vegas signed LZ Pryor as a wide receiver. She's now in Los Angeles. London signed JQ as a fullback. He is now a quarterback in Tulsa. Seattle signed Ace Finnick as a defensive tackle. He's now quarterback of Alamo City. Sioux Falls signed Noah Terraza as defensive tackle. He's now tight end running back or wide receiver at Sioux Falls. St. Louis signed Trellis Blanton as a fullback. He's now the quarterback in Seattle. Tulsa signed Javier Vasquez as a fullback. He's now the Denver Nightwings. Chicago signed tight end Ryan Yosef. He's now strong safety, free safety in Los Angeles. London signed defensive tackle Joe Duncan. He's now in Baltimore. Vancouver signed Devin King at linebacker. He's now in Denver. New Orleans signed Nelson Lozano Jr. as linebacker. He's now in Portland. Tulsa signed Cameron Curtis as a tight end. He's now your quarterback in Canton. Arizona signed linebacker Mike St. Green. He's now wide receiver in Houston. Atlanta signed tight end Moose Papano. He's still in Atlanta as a defensive back. Baltimore signed defensive tackle Bernard Patterson. He's now in Mexico City. Charleston signed offensive lineman Butch Minor. He's now in Houston. Vancouver signed fullback Delaney Nash. He's now in Fort Worth, defensive back. Carolina signed defensive end Katie Harrell. She's now a linebacker in Seattle. Chicago Wildcats signed Liam Hammer. He's now wide receiver in Louisiana. Denver signed fullback Ezekiel Love. He's now your starting running back in Portland. Queen City signed linebacker Albert McGinn. He's now strong safety, Alamo City. Arizona signed kicker Brian Dynasty. He's now the quarterback of Atlanta. Chicago signed defensive end Buddy Blaze. He's now in Los Angeles. Charleston signed punter Benjamin Warner. He's now a wide receiver in Portland. Denver signed defensive tackle Scott Johnson. He's now running back in Las Vegas. Vancouver signed tight end Phil Koss. He's now at Motor City. St. Louis signed Chad Stinson. He's now at Alamo City as the defensive coordinator. Queen City signed wide receiver Luther Gahn. He is now Fort Worth's defensive tackle. And the favorite 3 that signed the same day is yours truly. Carolina offensive lineman Catherine Harrell. She's a linebacker in Seattle. Myself, I was signed as a punter. Now I'm a cornerback at Alamo City. St. Louis wide receiver Cameron Shaw. He's now defensive back at Tulsa. Baltimore fullback R.E. Mills. He's now at Denver. Vancouver defensive tackle Hugo Reynosa. He's now at Denver. Atlanta signed defensive tackle Zach Lay. He's now cornerback in Vancouver. Chicago signed defensive end Eagle Mondavi. He's now in San Diego. Tulsa signed cornerback Rosca Santagria. He's now in Denver. Vancouver signed kicker Sammy Steele. He's now kicking in Atlanta. Houston signed Nathan Barnett at free safety. He's now in Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls signed Cam Crosby as defensive tackle. He's now in London. And the last one on the list of 45 that are still in the league from the season 14 non-contracts, Vancouver signed Connor Darien at cornerback, and he's now in Canton. Good luck to everyone in Week 10. Dave, that is all.
Holy smokes, Gunny. That was a crazy list. 45 people from season 14 on different teams than they played for as a non-contract. That's incredible. Thanks for that list. I know that took some time to research that, Gunny. So appreciate all the work, bro, and we'll see you next week, man.
Yes, sir. Good luck to Knox City and go Bluff City and the Tennessee Black Bears and all the other teams.
Boom. There you go. All right, folks. That was Gunny's Fire Watch, letting us know week to week who's on fire, who to watch. And this week, there were 45 players to watch that are still in the SFL from season 14 non-contracts. If you don't know what a non-contract was, throw it in the chat. I'm sure somebody will answer it. What is that? Oh, get out of here, bro. All right, folks, we're moving on to the owner's box. Like I mentioned before, no matter where we're at in the program, somewhere right around 10 o'clock, we will stop the show and pop on the owner's box, asking these owners to come on so we can respect their time. Let me see. Dion, are you still in here? This week, the owner of the Tulsa Desperados, Dion Hawkins, is in the house. Dion, what's going on, bro? How you been, man? Uh-oh, is Dion muted, bro? I'm not hearing you, man. Michael saying he wish I was still in non-contract. That's funny.
He's unmuted there.
No, yeah,
Dion,
I can
check
see
your
he's
mic
unmuted.
itself.
Yeah, I can see he's
Your
unmuted,
mic
but
itself might be muted.
I'm not getting the
this
green circle at all. Yeah, your main microphone on your computer might be muted.
If you want to put me in the green room, I'll be in the green room. I'll shuffle down with Dion and we'll talk there. Quick.
Yeah, actually, you know what I'm just gonna do, Tyler? Hold on. Here, I just gave you the mod role. Do your thing. All right. Well, while we wait for that, why don't we do this instead? Nate, why don't you give us your next breakdown, and then we'll move on to Dion once that gets situated, unless it's already situated, Tyler.
Yes, he should be good to go, Dion.
Can y'all hear me now?
Oh, yeah, perfect. How you doing, bro?
All right. Fuck me. I would be the one motherfucker who can't get the shit right.
Hey, that's
But
right.
I'm good though.
No, you're all good. Hey, at least you weren't muted, man. You don't want the you're muted, bro thing. That's the main thing you don't want on this show, man.
Probably help if I have my shit plugged in, so I wouldn't even mute it. I just wasn't even plugged in. So,
well, that's always a good first step too. I mean, you know. So how you been, man? What's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm chilling, living the dream.
There you go.
What's going on, everybody?
There you go. So, hey, I don't know if you've heard some of these segments already, but basically, I'm going to ask you some questions, kind of get the history of you, your team, you know, your history in the SFL, and that kind of thing. So let's start by letting everybody know when you joined the SFL, how you heard about it, what brought you here.
All right, yeah, for sure. Let's see where to begin. All right, so I actually found the league on Bleacher Report, or back then it was just Team Stream. I was literally scrolling. It had to be like 2:30, 2:45 in the fucking morning, just bored off my ass scrolling. I see a post. It was an article from I can't remember the guy's name. Something Mazine, Brian Mazine. He does like about like a lot of gaming articles about like 2K and Madden and a whole bunch of shit. So I click on it and I see about the SFL, and I joined right before season 7. So I hop on like Slack or whatever it was at the time.
Right.
Just start talking to people. I was actually really unique how I joined the league. So I came into the league as a player. I played with DC. I actually joined the league and I was immediately like a superstar. Not being cocky or anything, but just how my player was built. So what happened is, for people who don't know, Richard Snowden, like the all-time running back from DC previously,
Right.
um, he actually he passed away in real life.
Ooh.
So Destro had an opening. So I was talking and kind of putting myself out there like, hey, I want to join the league. I don't know shit about it, but what's up? So Destro hit me up and I actually got to take over his like exact build because it hadn't happened before. Like he passed in real life, and so it was crazy and super unique. So my first season I joined EC, but that was how I found the league. Like literally just bored as shit one day scrolling and was like, what the hell is this? And that's how it happened.
That's crazy. I mean, we're hearing a lot of stories like that. A lot of them were surrounded around TJ bringing people in, but for some other league that TJ was running at the time. But we're hearing a
Yeah.
lot about Destro and DC as well. So that was season 7,
I
and
played in CAG too. I was
oh,
in
did you? Were you in that
that
league
league.
with
Yeah,
them?
but I didn't actually join it until after the fact because I didn't even know it was a thing. So yeah, I played a few games and then I fucking ghosted them and told them I couldn't do it because I had other shit going on. So
So did you? So wait. So then. So after that season, what happened? Season 8. Then did you continue with that player, or what happened?
I did. So my whole thing since I started was very first day, like I'm gonna be an owner in this league. Whatever the fuck I gotta do, that's my end goal. So um I had absolutely zero loyalty. Not out of just not loyal to my team, but I had to do what I had to do to get my own team eventually. So I played one season with DC. Um we were all right. I think we missed the playoff by a game or two. And I had like it was me, um, Corky was a receiver. So what happened is that the next after my rookie season, Destro he folded the team, and I was a free agent. So hold on, give me a second. I was smoking this shit. So
He was
um,
wait. Oh, that's when he folded the team.
yeah.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
team it was no longer a DC team. So I was a free
Right.
agent after my
Right.
rookie season, and I end up signing with Houston. So I played for Sim. And so that was where I first kind of started into looking at what's going on with coaching. So I wanted to help him and Corky at the time because Corky went over. Um, and to be honest, I started out good, but then I fucking dropped the ball. Just fully transparent. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I had all these ideas, but I had never played all pro in the past or anything as
Right.
a kid. I didn't even know it existed. So this is what I want to do, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was a noob. So that's where I first started getting my feet wet coaching. Um, that season went good. We went to the playoffs. Lost like a fucking unreal crazy game to Alaska at the time, which was
Mm.
y'all gotta go back and check that game. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So
We hear a lot about that Alaska during those few
yeah,
seasons. Yeah.
right. So if anybody didn't know Deion Hawkins, he was one of the best running backs. I was up there, and then I wasn't worried about my player, so I retired afterwards. But anyway, we'll get to that in a little bit. So after that season, that was season 8. Um, they were doing all these expansion bids. People were putting in teams. So funny story, I was actually Andy Hamilton, his first bid. It was the Vancouver Stallions. I agreed to be his offensive coordinator.
So, and wait, what season
Bid.
was that?
Season 9, before season 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started 7, 8. So before season 9, he didn't get his bid. So I'm still a free agent. I'm not an offensive coordinator, thinking I was about to be a coordinator. So I actually linked up um, with Shan. It was a whole thing where Shan had. This is when Chicago, Shan won his bid over Andy, I believe. Um, so I start talking to Shan. Everybody's recruiting me. People hitting me up trying to get my running back. I'm like, I'm trying to be an owner one day. I need to be a coordinator so I can work my way up the level. So I linked in with Shan. We had a good rapport. So I signed with Chicago, and at that time we had a monster squad. We was like Minnesota last season, but times 10. We had crazy players like myself. Who else? Kanye. He was still good at the time. Um, anyway, I'm
Kanye had
off
a
on a
good
tangent.
weekend this weekend, bro.
I I ain't watch it, so I wouldn't even know. Um, but
So
yeah, so anyway, we had a good season. Season 9, we went to the championship, and lost to Mexico City. So that was the whole like the one of the biggest games, like the most watched stream was all on the first front page of Twitch and everything. So, and then after that season, I put in a bid and I got Tulsa that next year. So that was season 10. So that's when Tulsa came about after my one season as being a sole offensive coordinator. And I take full responsibility on that loss because I was trying some shit and Ray Bentley just ran all over us like a fucking madman. So we got our asses kicked. But
so season 10, were you you were Tulsa Desperados, so you've always been the Tulsa Desperados, correct?
yeah, we always been Tulsa.
Okay. So that was season 10. How'd your first few seasons go?
First few season was amazing. I thought I wasn't nobody fucking with me. We started off like 8-0. I got a little cocky. I was talking shit. We literally won our first eight games. I had my running back for that one season, and I retired after that first season. So we started off 8-0. Then we went on a slide and lost, I think, like 4 of our last 5 or something like that. We made playoffs, and then I believe we lost to Houston in that first round. So it started off good, and then we took and it kind of went downhill from there. So when I initially started the team, I didn't say too much in chat. So I specifically looked for people who didn't say anything. They weren't the big personalities, people who was kind of like myself. Well, when I first started, now talk all kind of shit to whoever wanted to listen. But um, so yeah, I specifically look for that kind of person where all they cared about was winning. So we had a specific culture, and that was our target. I was literally told people, I don't give a shit. You don't say anything, as long as you progress your player and you do what you're supposed to do, then you good with me. So yeah, it started off good, but then we kind of went a little downhill from there.
So
First few seasons.
yeah, so you're talking like probably season 11, 12, 13, whatever. When I
Hmm.
came in near the end of 14, I can't remember. Did you guys make the playoffs in 14? I can't remember if you guys were in that playoff.
All right, so
Or I'm sorry, season 13 I meant, because season 13 playoff season is when I learned about the league and watched the playoffs.
I mean, it's been, to be honest with you, it's been so many seasons now that
It's hard to remember one
yeah,
from the
I
other.
smoke a lot of weed. I don't even remember what I had for dinner 2 nights ago. So
Well, then let me jump it
specific
up.
dates and
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So let me jump it up. Before I've been here. I've been here since the end of season 13. I don't remember you guys making the playoffs since I've been here. Correct me if I'm wrong. But now you guys seem like a whole different team these last couple of seasons. What's been the difference the last 2 seasons between now and back in season 13?
Yeah, we made it a few times. I believe last season may have been our third playoff appearance. And again,
Okay.
I could be wrong. So we definitely made it. We just every time we made it, we lost first game. So we had some close calls, and we had 1 or 2 where we just got smashed. So we definitely have made it before. But
Oh, Fox
um,
just put in the chat. You guys lost to Atlanta in season 13 playoffs. So
okay.
season 13, but then 14 through now, I don't know that you've had a playoff appearance, have you?
14. Yeah, it can't
Can
be.
I-
Nah, yeah, it definitely
can I
can't be
jump
that
in on
long.
this
I
one?
know. Yeah,
What's-
go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead,
'Cause
Ty-
I
go
don't
ahead,
think
Tyler.
it was since
Season
13.
18, Tulsa Desperados picked up their first ever playoff win.
Oh,
It
season
would
18.
fall in the next round. Season 18.
Okay, perfect. So here's
You could have stayed out. I just said that like 30 seconds ago.
yeah, bro, but I wasn't listening to you. no, but for real. So
with you,
that's
Tyler,
season 18. Is that like when the Swift brothers came and all that, or was that later?
No, we had Jaden. Again, my seasons are gonna be off. I
Yeah.
believe maybe 16 or 17. So we did like a whole clean sweep. We let some people go. Um, no, okay. So the season we had Ashley and Kanye. I don't know what season it was. Maybe 14, 15.
I
I
think
have
they had
no
to be
idea.
13. 'Cause I think Eddie got his team in 14. Or no, I'm sorry, 15. So probably 14 for
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a whole thing. So we kind of had like a falling off, some behind the scenes shit going off. What happened, and we kind of did cause Kanye was my offensive coordinator at the time. So that time I felt like some whole ass shit was going on, and we kind of did a clean sweep. So at that time, I started to look for people who were more out there, who wanted to be involved, who wanted to come in and help me basically stop doing everything by myself. So I got Berto and then Jaden. And if people don't know, there are owners with myself as well. Berto Demoro and Jaden Swift. Um, so yeah, found them, and then we target specific people, trying to redo our whole front office, and then work our way down. So that's my thing is that I try to like people who are kind of like myself. Like they want to come into the league, but then they want to end up doing their own thing. Like Jason French, Daniel Wright, people like that. Like we try to target people who they're great players, but I want to give people the platform to make their own mark on the league. So you go to other teams, be a GM or things like that. So when we start to have that mindset, that's when we started to turn the season around. We started to get more wins because we find specific pieces like that. So that's
So
when the turnaround started to happen.
okay, so a couple more questions, then I'll let you go, Dion. But first question is, how are you feeling about this season? Let's fast forward now to season 20. How are you feeling about Tulsa this year?
I'm loving this season. I'm loving what I'm seeing on the field. I mean, we've always been, even though we missed playoffs, we've been a team that were just on the outside looking in. I mean, obviously, nothing was more prevalent than last season. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, what do I have to do? Like, fucking 7, we was 75 and still get in. It would be tossed, but whatever. End of the day. Yeah, I'm loving our team, and I've actually taken a step back as far as the playbook. So, shit, just to be honest, maybe I was the fucking problem. I'm like, let me try some different shit. Like shit. I mean, I know my fair amount, but I mean, I'm willing. Like, so we got Gabe Manning as well as Philly Collins doing the offense. Philadelphia Collins.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might not know. So he came to me a couple seasons ago. Said, "Hey, this is what I'm interested in. This is what I want to do." So the last 2 seasons, we just been working with him, building him up. And then this season, I'm like, "It's on you, bro. Do your thing." So, and he's put in the work and showed that he's valuable, and you see the results. Like we've had a better season. We had a couple of lucky breaks go our way. I mean, that's just part of game and football itself. But I love our culture, our vibe, and the people that we have on our team. They all about winning, and so I think
Yeah, I
that's a
love,
big
dude.
turnaround.
I love me some Swift brothers and Birdo, bro. I mean, they're
Hell
all
yeah.
they're all great peeps. Last question for
Especially
you.
Marco too. Marco, he's our GM,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
once we hit the ground running, like we talk all the time, but I let him do his thing. He's going out. I mean, these free agents we brought in, J Rock and Bandit, that's all Marco and them. So all shout outs to him because I mean I love not doing shit.
Yep, yep, yeah. Right. It's nice as an owner to have people that you can delegate to for sure.
Right.
So, last question, Dion, is how are you feeling about season 21, the new game, the new direction of the SFL?
I'm up for it. I mean, I'm not really a big kind of change guy, but I'm not resistant to change if I understand why. So a lot of times people get in over their head, and it's kind of like South Park. Everybody just rabble, 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 rabble before they even know what the hell is going on and looking at the what can come of it. Like, if it just absolutely bombs and sucks, I mean, do y'all really think Cam is just gonna keep doing something just because he changed his mind and want to go a different direction? If it's completely horrible, maybe we'll go back. But I'm on board with it. I'm kind of a little hesitant because I've been looking at like playbooks and things like that, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like this is a whole different animal
Yeah,
than what
it's a
we've been
lot.
doing the
Yeah, it is
past.
a lot for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So that part, I'm kind of skeptical about. I mean, but I'm on board with it. I like seeing the different uniforms and I was looking at uniform. I'm like, damn, because I don't code. I'm not tech savvy. I don't even fuck with Photoshop like that. So, but just the fact of we can do things like that. So yeah, I'm on board with it. I'm excited about it.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Well, Dion, thanks for taking the time tonight to come on the new segment, The Owner's Box, here on Access Live. Appreciate you being here. You're welcome back anytime you want, bro. And
Of
I really appreciate you kind of, digging into the past, the history, letting us know how you got started, how Tulsa came about and stuff. I think it's good for the listeners to know, especially those of us who've only been here so many seasons, to know how all this kind of got started. So thanks for being
Yeah,
here tonight. Thanks for sharing the information, man. Appreciate it.
no
Hey, Dave,
problem.
before you let him go, can I say something real quick?
Absolutely not. Yeah, go ahead.
No, hey, Berto and Jaden were the original OGs over in Madison season one of the minor leagues over in SFLM. And I came up that season one championship um, championship season of season one for the Lynx. And uh, I was going to say, Dion, I got to experience what that locker room um, atmosphere is like in Tulsa, and that winning culture is like that you instill in them through us,
Mhm.
um, with that winning culture that they had in us with that championship season. So I just wanted to thank you for that. That you lent them down to us, so that we can experience that through the minor leagues also.
Yeah.
And
No.
you might not remember this, but you were actually so after that season one championship season that we had in Madison. You were actually my first owner uh, interview
Hmm.
in between the season and and the and the rookie draft. So I just wanted to say thank you for the time you sat down with me to let me experience that
Yeah.
atmosphere of the interview and everything that you had.
Absolutely. Yeah, and so we was one of the first with the minor leagues when it came about. We like we gonna hit the ground running. So I know it's a whole thing with if owners have access. I don't have access to the minor league, but I gave that to them, and they hit the ground running. So we're like we're gonna use it essentially kind of like a feeder system, not just from Madison, but it ended up working out where we ended up getting a whole bunch of Madison guys. I mean, it was their team, so who better to
Yeah,
say that, hey, this guy's legit. He doesn't miss progression. He's gonna do this. So I'm like, okay, well, let's fucking draft him. So,
right.
and we had
Absolutely.
a pretty good system of interviewing people, and a lot of people we missed out on. And it's crazy. Some people that could have been desperados, they weren't. And we literally had there was one pick, and a couple of times they got picked literally right before we picked. So, yeah, I'm all about the minor leagues. It's great for coaches
Yeah.
and players.
Yeah, I agree. I think every team should have some kind of feelers in there for sure. But
Hmm.
Dion, thank you again. Appreciate you being here, bro. And we'll see you next time you're here.
All right, appreciate y'all.
All right,
Everybody
man.
have a good one.
All right, take it easy, bro. Dion Hawkins, ladies and gentlemen, owner of the Tulsa Desperados, giving us a little history about him and his team here in the SFL. Let's wrap up these last few divisions before we move on to Diva of the Week and Pick'ems. The Pacific Division, Nate, this is all you. Break it down for us this weekend.
Let me make sure I'm unmuted. There we go.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. So if I were to tell you that the Pacific went 1-3 this weekend, the one winning team you would probably guess would be Vancouver,
I
right?
would guess that for sure.
Right? Well, you'd be wrong. Because, because it was actually LA this week and the other three teams lost. And
Mm.
this is how the cookie crumbled. Uh, for the LA Jacksonville game, uh, LA had a really good game plan for Jacksonville. Sully Richardson threw one touchdown, no picks, 73% completion percentage, 233 passing yards. But Logan Jack, he had 104 rushing yards and two touchdowns. He was the bell cow for their offense. Um, Elsie Pryor had 90 yards and a touchdown to go along with that passing game as well. He had a game in and of itself. Um, Seattle, more downside for Seattle this week. Just couldn't get anything going with their game against Louisiana, like Tyler was talking about. Um, trying to see. So yeah, they were shut out in the first half of that game, 21-0. They didn't score their 14 points until the second half. I want to say the last 7 points came in garbage time of that game. Uh, Trellis Blanton was intercepted 3 times, sacked twice. He did have two touchdown passes, but threw for less than 200 yards, only 60 completions. Baloo Scott did have 85 yards rushing, but no touchdowns. Um, it just wasn't a good day for Seattle. David Gears had uh, David Gears and Zachary Patton had the two split the two receiving touchdowns for their offense. Portland, um, I called that game against Seattle, or not Seattle, against Tulsa. Um, surprised Dion didn't mention that when he was on here. For all practical purposes, Portland should have had that game won, honestly, because they were ahead 14-3 at halftime. They were ahead 17-3 going into the fourth quarter. They were ahead 17, I think it was 17-13 with about a minute 50 left in the game. And just one drive. It just took one drive that they miscalculated the clock and they let Tulsa have one chance left at it, and it killed them. But as far as Portland's, whoever covers Tulsa, I'll let them talk about that. But but Portland's stats: Cyrus Strive had 65% completions, 183 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked twice. Benjamin Warner had the lone receiving touchdown. Ezekiel Love, monster game from him. His longest run was 43 yards. He had 33 rushes for 143 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, they should have won that game, but they just let that one slip away at the very end. In Vancouver, in the NLSC game of the week on Saturday evening, Vancouver lost their game against Indianapolis. And despite Christian Brown throwing 76% completion percentage and 318 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, he was sacked twice. Robert Redford only had 70 rushing yards. Christopher Curtis had 114 receiving yards. Killian and Redford combined for 64 each receiving yards. Justice Blackwell had a touchdown in that game. And their defense picked off their opponents twice. But despite all that, they gave up a blocked field goal that resulted in points directly.
Yeah, I saw that.
And a kickoff that resulted in points directly. And whoever covers that division will talk about that as well. But again, I think Vancouver, minus those 2 special teams plays, would have had that game. But they just, again, Portland and Vancouver, I think they are left with those games feeling like they should have won those games, minus a couple of plays.
Yeah. Mel Davis in the chat saying Portland got APF'd. Dion talking about good teams. Marcus always finding ways to win. Used Minnesota against Seattle a couple weeks ago as the example. What's your quick question for Nate over here as far as the Pacific goes?
So this division is interesting. It's kind of a down year for everybody involved, but all the teams keep out fighting. Vancouver's 4-4. Portland is 3-5, but they've lost a couple in a row. Seattle also has lost a couple in a row. They're 2-6. LA is what I'm interested in for this question because LA is 2-6, but they have some momentum of winning the last 2 games, and they face Vancouver next week. Last week, Jacob said that he thought Vancouver would be the only team out of this division to make the playoffs. But my question is for you, since Los Angeles plays Vancouver this week, they could go to 3-6 and drop Vancouver to 4-5. So being within 1 game of the division. That would make them be winning 3 games straight. Can LA make a push for the division, or is it too little too late? LA's last 3 games after Vancouver would be Florida, Indianapolis, and Seattle.
That's a great question.
I don't think LA has enough yet to beat Vancouver, and I'll tell you why. I think Field of Vancouver will play a role in this weekend's game against Vancouver, and Vancouver is always a tough beat whenever they play up in Canada. Whenever Vancouver plays up north, and whenever they play in Vancouver, it's very hard to beat that team whenever they're in Canada. And yes, I agree that LA has found something these last 2 weeks that hasn't worked the rest of the season, and whatever it is, I believe that they can sustain it. Um, they've had it going the last 2 weeks, and Vancouver, like you said, has been kind of an enigma really the last couple of weeks. They win close games, but then they take a step back. It seems like, and it's really hard to tell where that team's at. Um, but then again, at the same time, like I was saying with this game against Indianapolis, if it wasn't for those two special teams plays, I really feel like Vancouver would have won that game with how dominant they were on offense and how their defense picked off uh, the quarterback twice of their opponents. I just don't think that they have it yet to where they're gonna win on the road quite yet.
Yeah, I think we've got some people in the chat from Seattle. We got some people in the chat from Portland. We got some people in the chat. I think I saw somebody from Vancouver earlier. I don't see anybody from LA. If you're an LA Lycan in the chat, what do you think about your chances to catch Vancouver, which means also passing everybody else in front of you in the meantime?
If I'm Vancouver right now, I'd be more. You said Portland's 3-5 right now.
I'd have to look it up real quick.
I think you said 3-5.
Yeah.
So if I was Vancouver right now, I'd be more about Portland and the way they played against Tulsa than I would be worried about LA and them catching up with them at this point in the season.
Yeah.
So the reason I highlighted LA specifically in this instead of Portland is that Portland's on a 3-game losing streak and LA's on a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah.
And obviously that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Teams can turn it around, but I was trying to focus on the team that was trending up to see where they were going to go. Portland obviously can catch them too, but they got to turn that losing streak around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, thanks for breaking that down, bro. Appreciate it. Justin, you got the Atlantic, bro. It's Baltimore. We thought it was going to be D.C. at the beginning of the season. Turned out it was going to be more Carolina. But now with Carolina and D.C. losing to Baltimore, beating everybody except for one team, this is pretty much Baltimore's division. But how did everybody do this weekend?
Well, we talked about earlier. We talked about Carolina losing to Las Vegas, and then the only Atlantic Division matchup in this division was D.C. beating Charleston by a field goal, 14-13, 1-point game there.
Yeah.
And that was just the only game that was in the division, and was, like I said before, Baltimore playing Amy Birds with Denver.
I don't know, bro. I mean, Carolina lost this week, but I thought Carolina was pretty strong up until this week. What are your thoughts on Carolina? Who did they play this week? Who did they lose to? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Dude, you're right though. You're right. We talked about that. I mean, I'm messing with you, but the
Really quick, Sully's in the chat. He said,
right.
"Gotta believe in the vision." This is Sully.
Okay, good. All right, good to hear that. I can't remember if I asked you this last time or if I asked you off air. So if I already asked you, that's fine. But I think I did ask you this with the West, that you were surprised about how well you guys handled Carolina. But as you look at these other teams, DC, I think complete disappointment this season so far. Who did they? Let me look. I got to look up this. I got to pull up the schedule real quick. Who did DC play this week?
Charleston.
Charleston.
Yeah, you're talking about week 9.
Week 9. Sorry. Yeah. So Charleston. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, bro. Just tell me, what do you think about this division, man? It's just, I just don't know who else to pull for besides Baltimore. Like nobody else. It's almost like nobody else wants to compete in this division except for Baltimore.
Yeah, that's pretty much this division is Baltimore all day, all the time. It's the same vulture time, same vulture channel every week.
I mean, I know you listen. I know you covered the Vegas Carolina game when you did the West, but talk a little more about Carolina. I feel like now. Listen, they got to play San Diego coming up, right? They have to play. I believe they play Charleston one more time. I believe so. That should be a W. They're probably going to take a huge L against San Diego, I'm sure. And then, have they played Arizona yet, or do they still need to play Arizona?
They are. I believe they're playing Arizona this week.
This week. Okay, so, what are you doing, Marcus? Like Baltimore doesn't get enough play already? I mean, come on, bro. Come on. But Justin, tell me, do you think Carolina's got a chance to secure that second seed in the Atlantic and make the playoffs?
I would probably say maybe. Who knows? Depending on if they can get through the rest of their so-called, their version of Motorers Row.
Right. Right. Arizona, San Diego. I mean, they'll probably beat Charleston, right?
Right. Yeah.
So 1 and 2 down the stretch, and I don't know who their other game is. You think that? So let's say they go 2 and 2. Is that going to do it? What's their record right now? Let's look. Atlantic, Charleston, Carolina is. Oh, are they 4 and 3? They're 4 and 3, so that could put them at. Oh, that would put them at 6 and 6, huh? Or if they went down the stretch. Yeah, I don't think so. I think we've all been in agreement on this show and in the chat. 6 and 6 is not going to cut it this year.
Yep, 6 and 6 is not going to cut it. You got to go probably above that number, that record to make playoffs. So.
Yeah, I think there might even be some 7 and 5 teams that will not make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So that's pretty much the what you call it, the ladder. You got to go above the 5 and 7 and 5 run to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Anything else going on in this Atlantic division?
No, it's just Baltimore all the time.
All Baltimore all the time, whooping up on Denver, and everybody else just kind of watching in that division. All right, Justin, thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Yep. Tyler. Oh, I could help if I hit the button, huh? Let's wrap up with the Central Division, man. You were saving some of your other ammunition for this, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you add it.
All right, perfect, Dave. Well, I have a lot of good news, which also means some bad news for a certain team because there was so much good news. And that's because every team won, which means it's bad for Sioux Falls, who is sitting at a 500% record, but is still behind Indianapolis and division leaders Minnesota and Tulsa by 2 games, which is insane. This Central Division has become the South Division of old, and now maybe the most competitive division we've yet to see in Season 20. So let's go ahead and break it down. I went bottom to top in terms of standings. I'm going to go top to bottom, and then we get to start with my Minnesota legend. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you betcha.
Oh no. Fuck! I thought I thought we got lucky and you weren't going to do the accent.
Oh no, you didn't dare. Hey,
terrible. Absolutely fucking terrible.
Over 400 total yards, 324 passing yards in total by the Minnesota Legend. 307 of those were by Johnny Reno. He had 2 touchdowns, did throw an interception, but did play very well. Not a whole lot of ground game against Atlanta, but that's one of Atlanta's strengths on defense. Regardless, to say Minnesota just put the hurt on them, completely controlled the game, forced 4 mistakes out of the Atlanta offense, most of them coming through interceptions. In fact, all of them coming through Bryant Dynasty interceptions. So Minnesota shutting down Atlanta. And one other thing about this football game is, PDG usually averages close to about 100 yards a game. 21. 21 yards on 13 carries, only good enough for a 1.6 yards per carry, completely neutralizing half of Atlanta's, what I've been saying for the last couple of weeks, a nice balanced attack, 250 passing yards, 100 rushing yards. They'll get you wins every time. Well, you take away one of those, you force Atlanta to go one-dimensional. That's how you beat the Swarm, and that's exactly what Minnesota did. All right. On to the Tulsa Desperados. Of course, not looking good for them up until that 4th quarter, and immediately upon coming out of the quarter break from 3rd into 4th quarter, all of a sudden, here comes Tulsa with their second field goal of the ball game. The defense comes to play almost immediately right after that on the ensuing possession, and they pick off quarterback Cyrus Jive for his second interception. They all of a sudden start marching down the field and putting points on the board. And it didn't look like anything was going to happen Portland pin, Tulsa deep. Just call on Gabriel Manning, 93 yards for a touchdown, completely burning the secondary and leaving Portland in port as Tulsa come back to victory in that game.
Well, you know what they say about ships, right? Ships sink, bro.
Loose lips sink ships, and they were talking too much. There you go. About Gabriel. I
like throwing that out just for Jacob, but go ahead.
There we go. All right, on to Indy and Vancouver. Of course, it was already mentioned prior, but Kanye Rockefeller's double dip on special teams touchdowns, one blocked field goal, which was returned for a touchdown, and a kick return touchdown. That field goal block return touchdown, only the second one in SFL history. So Rockefeller adding his name to a very short list of individuals. Indianapolis, however, Colin Pierce, pretty admirable, only a yard shy of 300 passing yards, 75% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The running game did not get going, but that's still a work in progress with young running back Christian Pierce, only 46 yards on the ground, only averaging 2.6 yards per carry. But it, of course, was that defense neutralizing Vancouver in areas, and of course, the special teams touchdowns, which led to a very shocking victory over the Legion in Vancouver. Final game of the night, Florida and Sioux Falls. We've talked about Florida. We talked how they came back, but Sioux Falls came to play early, and they finally woke up in the fourth quarter after only scoring a field goal early on in the second quarter. They didn't score a single point in the third quarter. It was miserable for Sioux Falls after throwing 4 interceptions to Evan Carroll. All of a sudden, Sioux Falls is like, all right, as soon as Florida retook the lead, the offense switched a gear. They said, all right, we call the same exact players. We called the same exact players. We called the same exact plays on back-to-back drives, which resulted in interceptions. We're changing that now. All of a sudden, the offense looks much more composed, much more compliant to work within their system. And all of a sudden, Julian Tyree leads the offense down for a couple of quick scores. And the final play of the night, I have to save for later.
Why?
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in just a second.
That sounds good. Marcus, what do you got for Tyler when it comes to the Central?
So this division is really starting to heat up this week. Minnesota took down Atlanta. Tulsa's won 4 straight to be 6-2. Indianapolis beat Vancouver to be right behind them at 5-3. Tyler, do you think this division is going to be mainly determined by whoever wins the Week 11 game between Tulsa and Minnesota? Or do you think Indy can climb back if both the teams falter down the stretch? Because I think Minnesota beating Atlanta really shakes things up at the top of the division.
No, in fact, to add your point there, Marcus, both Tulsa and Indianapolis are on 3+ game winning streaks. Tulsa on a 4-game winning streak, Indy on a 3-game winning streak. Both teams are hot at the moment and really putting together a really strong middle section of their season, now coming into the back half when you need to be hot. Exactly what those two teams need to do. Minnesota, though they've had a couple of slip-ups to a couple of teams early in the season, need to be looking in their rearview mirror, because we all know objects in your mirror are much closer than they appear, especially with Tulsa breathing right down their neck. And it could very well come to that tiebreak where Minnesota and Tulsa play in that final in that Week 11 game, and that could be the deciding factor between these two teams. But with how Indy's playing, don't count them out, especially with how Sioux Falls came back and won a very topsy-turvy, crazy last couple of minutes game where Florida could not, and I would say that for labor. I'll get back to that here in a second. This division is more a Guy Clausen up for grabs than the South Division, because if Minnesota start to slip up, if Tulsa start to slip up, Indianapolis start to slip up, Sioux Falls could very easily be on top of this division. We ended, I think, this division with 3 teams at 7-5 last season. I don't see that happening, but we could see 3 teams tying with an 8-4 record this season.
Interesting. All right, Tyler, thanks for breaking down the Central for us. Let's move on to Diva of the Week. This may end up being the longest show we've had this season. Guys, we'll see what happens. But let's see what happens when I'm not in a hurry. We just chill. We just do our thing, man. We're going to talk about Diva of the Week. First and foremost, let's talk about last week's Diva of the Week. Who is your winner, which I will tell you momentarily as soon as I get this stuff. We had, let me see how many people voted here. Let me pull this up real quick. Oh, it doesn't tell me. A lot. We had a lot of people vote. That's a new math term. I learned it in trigonometry. A lot of people voted this week, and we had one person literally, dare I say, run away with it?
By 28 points. And Eddie Gage is going to want me to bring this up, but, London came back to win that game in a come from behind fashion last season.
Ooh, look at
this return as a whole commentator curse. I am so sorry, Alamo City. 30, 20, 10. 1 man to beat. Not going to bring him down. Kick return touchdown for Guy Clausen. 6 points. So sorry. 100 yards. Blockers on the left side. And we'll see if that's the spark that Motor City needed.
And number 45 there with a great block to break him free. And who was that?
Oh, man. Oh.
Boom shakalaka. Guy Clausen, Diva of the Week with the largest margin of victory this season so far, with basically 46% of the vote. Diva of the Week goes to the Claw. Guy Clausen himself. Congrats, Guy Clausen, on your 46% of the vote. The largest margin so far. Congrats, bro. Now we will move on to this week, week 9. That was week 8, right? Week 8 Diva of the Week. We will now move on to the week 9 Diva of the Week nominees, starting with you, Tyler. No, starting with you, Nate.
Starting with
Shit, no, I was going to start with Nate. Sorry. I'm reading something that says Tyler. It says, I'll just read it. It's a DM. It says, why is Tyler such a dick?
What did I do this time?
I just made that up as an excuse because I fucked up. Don't worry about it. Nate, go ahead, buddy.
Okay. For this first Diva of the Week, instead of typing GM to stand for good morning in your text, from now on you will type GM in your text to stand for this guy. Roll the clip.
General
I
manager.
have to depend on JQ to throw the long ball. 4 wide receivers. Q to throw. Going for the deep ball left side.
Look out!
He's got room to run. This could go 93 yards. Touchdown, Tulsa. They take the lead on 1 play.
You've got to be kidding me. We just got done talking about how Portland would be evening things up and Tulsa would be falling to 5-3 in the game back from Minnesota. But 1 throw and 93 yards is all JQ needed to find Gabriel Manning wide open on the left-hand side behind Portland's defense. 3 defenders couldn't cover Manning. Manning, all he had to do was catch that one.
Well,
that's right.
If this was,
that is why that guy is your Diva of the Week for week 9.
Well, he definitely would win the Rip Your Heart Out award if we had that on, because he definitely ripped Portland's heart out. Justin, who's our second week 9 Diva of the Week nominee?
Can you say Rockefeller?
I think I can. Let's see.
1 second left on the clock. So Kanye Rockefeller, well, he's chomping at the bit. He loves this opportunity. He wants to get another kick return for a touchdown and give Indianapolis the lead.
Right, that's what I was saying. I mean, because we know he's on special teams and on that, field goal attempt there. I'm like, man, somebody needs to trip him or something so he don't get his block and have a chance to scoop it and score again.
Only second time ever to happen in SFL history, and Gerald wants it the second time in the first half of this game. Rockefeller spins midfield. He's going to go all the way. Vancouver's lead was short-lived. Rockefeller, player of the game so far in this one. It'll be hard to beat that. Touchdown, Indy, as time expires in the first half.
Wow. I mean, Justin, he broke a record, right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, he returned a blocked field goal for a touchdown, and then that happened.
So that's 2 humongous plays and players, Tyler, for Diva of the Week so far. Who's our third Week 9 Diva of the Week nominee?
Well, let's finish off my thought on Florida and Sioux Falls, right? For another time, I think it was the 3rd time that Florida could not maintain a lead within the final 30 seconds of play. But what a sweeter way of getting your first SFL touchdown by getting the game-winning touchdown.
Is this time on an out route. And again, basically, defender drapesing all over him, and he manages to get the catch. A crucial one again gives Sioux Falls another fresh set of downs, and this is the go-for-it-all play here. They want the end zone.
1st and goal from the 9. Terrazas all alone on the right-hand side. Tyree over the middle, wide open, touchdown! Michael Knight, his first career touchdown, is the go-ahead touchdown for Sioux Falls.
And you know, we've been talking about A.J. Warren being the outside option, K. Marion switching roles, Nori Terrazas being the deep threat now. We forgot about Michael Knight. That's his first catch of the game, and how about that? To take the lead with less than 30 seconds left in this game.
It might be looping.
Oh, no, there you go. All right. I'm sure they were talking. I can never hear the video talking when I'm on this end. All right, yeah, so first, rookie, right? I mean, that's...
Mr. Michael Knight. I remember his days playing back for the Ottawa Cavalry in the minor league. It took him a while to get him to Sioux Falls, and it's been... I think this is his 2nd or 3rd season in the league without a touchdown. And to do that and put Florida, who many fans had my head, well, still have my head on the silver platter, if I'm all being honest. But just for Knight to do it in a way that really just shows the faith in the team for him, and for him to repay the team like that.
Yep.
That's
awesome. That's solid. So we got 3 solid candidates so far, Marcus. You about to make it 4?
Oh, I think so. Hey, Twitch chat, rejoice. Anybody who got to see the Fort Worth and London game, you guys saw that a reception record was nearly broken in that game with a London wide receiver getting 5 touchdowns. And I just want to say he almost got 6, but got tackled at the 3-yard line instead of getting his 6th touchdown. But yeah, he didn't even take us out to dinner first.
Pickler empty 5 wide. 1st and 10 at the Fort Worth 31-yard line. Under 3 to play in the 3rd quarter. Deep shot, Kalia. That's number 5! Wow. Touchdown, London!
Vin Kalia. Enough said. 5th touchdown on the night. You put 35 points up yourself, minus the 5 extra points. Vin Kalia, you are unbelievable right now.
Adam Leach needs a beach and a drink somewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty solid too, man. Holy smokes. Yep, Cliff Allen, like Marcus said, he almost had 6. So we got 4 down and 1 to go. And I really went back and forth on this one quite a bit. You know, sometimes when you're the guy on the poster that isn't the guy that people are looking at on the poster, and you're the one actually being posterized, and you're the guy, you're the answer to a trivia question maybe, or you're the person that says, do you remember when so-and-so did this against so-and-so? This really hurts my heart to even say this. And if he wins, it's going to hurt my heart even more. But I got to give props. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to play it.
State-of-the-art technology, world-class customer service, APM Music is the official soundtrack of the Simulation Football League. To explore the library and find the perfect tracks for your project, visit apmmusic.com. As that interception is pulled in by Eddie Gage, he finally got it. Hey! Number 100!
100 interceptions for Eddie Gage. And what a way to do it. You know, I mean, blame the blocker for not possibly being another milestone, but hey, let's have the man have his moment. The first player in SFL history in the 20 seasons we've been around to reach 100 career interceptions. Congratulations, Eddie.
Yeah, that hurts just as bad seeing it in instant replay as it did when it happened. Oh, man. So, yeah, Eddie Gage, congrats on interception number 100, the first SFL player to ever do it. I would be much more excited if you had done it against another team, but it happened to be against San Diego. So, Eddie Gage and San Diego will always be interlocked in the record books, and even possibly this season in Diva of the Week win. Hopefully not, but who knows. Not that I'm rooting against you, Eddie, but that one hurt, bro. You know, you could have held it off a week, or you could have done it a week earlier. Pretty poor planning on your part, I think. But anyway, there you go. 5 ridiculous nominees for Diva of the Week, Week 9. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how the voting goes. Holdorf will have the voting up here actually momentarily. So as soon as he's got it up, you guys can go in there and vote. So this brings us to the last segment of the evening, predictions and pick'ems. And first of all, we got to update the single week percentage and the multi-week winning percentage. So Will Todd from the other week, sitting at 82% now. If you remember, Daniel was up there at 85%, but Daniel was on the show last week. And Daniel not only went 11-2 the first time, he went 11-2 the second time to keep him at 85% overall. And Daniel, after 2 shows, is only trailing Josh at 88%. And the fact that I was so excited about Josh having 88%, I put the percent sign twice. What do you know about that? So there you go. The 3 people with 69% are Greg Soto, Chad Rowland, and Jacob Clear. Jacob Clear from last week. So you got Will, Slyn, Paulie, and those 3 on the multi-week side. You got Josh, Daniel, Frank, and then Tyler. Oh, and Tyler, I forgot to change. You're at 5 now. I forgot to change your number there. So that's where we're at with the percentages to see who's going to win some Axis swag at the end of the season. So Marcus and Justin, you guys are going to jump into this single week percentage this week. So we'll see how you guys do. Let's start breaking these down. Once again, as always, thank you to Axel Raven for producing these graphics for the predictions and pick'em segment, which I haven't even written down in my notes yet. So Nate, let's get started with you on Saturday at 1 p.m. Houston at Canton. Who you got? Nate. Oh, shit. Oh, shit.
Number 2. Number 2.
Here we go.
Make it 3 if you're covering for Dunhill. Make it 3.
Oh, my gosh. You know, I might
go.
Oh, my gosh, Becky.
I pick Houston.
Oh, my gosh. Hold on one second. Sorry. All right, Justin, who you got?
Houston. Sorry, Brett, but I have to go Houston.
Houston. Tyler.
H-Town.
And Marcus.
Sorry, Mike. I have Houston as well.
Why is everybody got to apologize to Mike, man? Nobody fucking apologizes to me when you pick against San Diego. What the fuck?
I didn't apologize to Mike. I apologize to Brett.
Dude, fucking Mike's not even here, for God's sake. All right. 1:15 on Saturday. London at Motor City. Nate.
London.
Justin.
I'm going to go out on a limb. Motor City.
Oh, holy shit. Hold on. I started writing London already. Hold on. Really? That's, I mean, who did they just got crushed this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, but, you know, I'm going out on a limb.
By Mexico City.
Dude, Justin's strictly going for the record, the stats. He's like, he's just going to pick all the wild cards.
Justin, you're going to pick Motor City against a London team who just had a shootout with a very talented Fort Worth defense. There is no way in hell that London is losing this
Somebody-
game. If they lose this game, I will burn a flat cap.
Oh! Somebody clip that. Clip that
Yep.
shit. Clip
Clip
that
that
shit.
I will burn a flat cap if
All
they
right.
lose.
Marcus, who you got?
I have London as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wow, Justin just blew up the fucking internet. Unbelievable. All right, Nate, I've got game 3 on Saturday, Florida at Jacksonville.
Florida.
Justin.
Florida.
Fuck, I was waiting for Jacksonville right there. Okay. Tyler.
Oh joy. Tie? No, I'll go Florida on this one.
No, hey, Guy Clausen, you did get a vote. Justin voted for you. That's why he blew up the internet, bro. I'm sorry, Tyler. Who'd you say?
Florida.
Florida. Okay. And Marcus. Oh, here we go. Dude,
I got Florida as well.
Dude, how many of those fucking flags do you have, Marcus?
All of
Two.
them.
Two.
All of them.
Two. He's like, just 2. I shot my whole load. I got Baltimore, Florida. That's it. All right. Who we got? Game 4, 6:45 p.m. on Saturday. Alamo City at Queen City. Nate.
Alamo City.
Alamo City. Justin.
Unless Queen City can get a Constantina from Champions, it's Alamo City.
It is definitely out. Okay. Hold on. What's going on here? Marcus is the Lee Corso of Access Live. That's awesome. Tyler, what do you got?
Fire! Artillery.
There you go. Boom. Or like they like to say, boom. Marcus.
Alamo City.
Alamo City, yeah. That's a sweep. Now, I got to say, though, I think, hold on, let me look. Did they sweep? Only one team to Houston this past week, or only one person, sorry. And that was Tyler, believe it or not. There you go. Tyler, you did okay this week, bro. You went 8-5. Not bad. Daniel went 11-2. Justin went 9-4. And Nate, you went 6-7, bro. I don't know what's up with that. I think you were too concerned about your beard last week. Moving on to one of the night games on Saturday, Mexico City at Fort Worth. This is going to be a barn burner. This is going to be a good one, Nate. Who you got?
I got Fort Worth.
Justin.
I got Mexico City.
Mexico City. Tyler.
Easily the game to watch on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh boy, at Fort Worth, I'm gonna go Toros on this one.
Yeah, I think when there's these close games, sometimes I think home advantage is literally this hair splitting that you need. Marcus, I'm assuming you're going with Fort Worth, but tell me why.
So I'm going to go with Fort Worth. We have the potential to be a really great team. We beat Baltimore earlier in the season, and we've had a couple down weeks. It just depends on whether we show up and perform at the best of our ability. If we do, I think we can win the game. If we don't, then we're very much going to lose. I definitely think it's a coin toss, but I'm just going to put my faith in the team.
There you go. All right, and the nightcap on Saturday, Denver at DC. Nate.
DC.
Justin.
Game of the Dragons.
Tyler.
Javier Vasquez was let go as the offensive coordinator after the loss to Baltimore. Stephen Ford steps in. You can't really make too many changes in between week to week, so I give it to DC.
What do you think? How do you think that's going to be going forward, Tyler? Do you think after a few weeks it'll make a difference for Stefan or not?
Either Javier and the rest of Denver's crew has been working with him behind the scenes to put in to help him get acclimated to the playbook system, or he's literally being thrown to the fire. I hope it's not the latter, but it's going to be a tough situation for him to get an already established playbook and adjust it to fit what he wants the Denver Nightwing offense to do. And based on what I personally saw versus Baltimore last week, they have a long way to go.
Okay. Marcus, do you agree?
Yeah, I think DC is going to win this game.
All right, moving on to Sunday. Your San Diego Mavericks, after taking a beatdown from the Arizona Scorpions, your reward is you get to go to Baltimore. Nate, who you got? Nate, who you got?
I don't want to say.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, shit. You know, could have been, if you were still in the survivor pool, this is one of those weeks where you could have picked Baltimore, and then either we win the game and that's cool, or then if we lose the game, you survive in Survivor.
Yeah.
But you're not.
Give me Baltimore.
You're not in the Survivor pool anymore, so.
Yeah, give me Baltimore.
Oh, damn! I thought we'd get at least one vote. Justin.
Sports Gamers Online Stadium. Sorry, Baltimore.
Baltimore. Tyler?
I'm sorry, Dave.
I know it. Oh, hey, somebody finally said, I'm sorry, Dave. What do you know? Usually I get, hey, Dave, fuck you. I'm picking the other team.
By the way, real quickly, really, am I slurring that much, Holdorf? Dave, take a look at show clips in the Access live chat. This is...
Let's see. Tyler going to burn a flat cap or a black cat? What the fuck? No, I think Holdorf's ears are slurring, actually. Marcus, who you got in this San Diego-Baltimore game?
Knowing what Baltimore can do, I just can't bring myself to ever pick against them because at the best of their ability, they can beat anyone. So I pick Baltimore.
See, he even said his ears are drunk. All right, Marcus, I got that. Moving on to 6:45 p.m. Sunday, Vegas at Charleston. Nate.
Give me Vegas.
Justin, I know you got Vegas. Tell me why you think you're going to beat Charleston.
We're too hot. It's like we're hot. It's like all flight, no whatchamacallit, fire going out.
Oh God, you can't be extinguished.
Yep.
There you go. Tyler.
Oh, love you too, there, Holdorf. Charleston kept DC close, but this isn't the same DC team as a season or even 2 seasons ago. I'm gonna ride the Fury, and I'll keep it with Las Vegas.
All right, Marcus, you making this a clean sweep?
I have Vegas as well.
Yep. All right, 3 more games left. Sunday night games. The first one is Carolina at Arizona. Carolina playing well, but they did take a loss this week. Nate, who you got?
Give me the Scorpions.
Justin?
Fatality Field goes to the Scorpions.
Yep. Tyler?
Yeah, Scorpions.
And Marcus?
I have a lot of friends on Carolina, but Arizona is just one tough team, so I have to go with Arizona.
They are looking good this season. The nightcap on Sunday, Sioux Falls at Indianapolis. Nate?
I'm going Indy.
Interesting. This is actually going to be a good game. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Sioux Falls at Indianapolis. Justin?
Ramblers.
Wow. Is a home field advantage, Nate and Justin?
Yeah, it's honestly a toss up.
Yeah.
Sioux Falls had to use a last minute drive on a faltering Florida team that's been stumbling most of the season to win their game this past week. Indianapolis, they took it to Vancouver this past week, but I don't know. Something about Indianapolis just gives me a feeling that they're gonna win a close one against Sioux Falls this weekend.
Justin, what about you? Is home field advantage one of the reasons?
Yeah, home field. Sioux Falls. It's different Indianapolis team than you expected last season.
Okay, Tyler.
Because this is
actually tougher than you think. I think.
Yes, because like I said in the breakdown of the Central Division, Sioux Falls is 4-4. Indianapolis is only a game above them at 5 wins. I'm gonna go the Sparrows on this one because Sioux Falls is the more established franchise, and yes, it is a home game for Indianapolis, and yes, Indianapolis has played well, but I think it's going to be a very, very, very finite performance from both these clubs. It should be a great game to watch on the nightcap on Sunday.
That'll be
I
close.
gotta go the Sparrows in this one.
Marcus, where are you going with this?
So I'm going to go with Indianapolis. They're trending up with the 3-game win streak. The Sioux Falls Sparrows has been win-loss, 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 and I think the momentum is Ramblers right now.
And if that keeps up, they lost last week, so this would be a win this week, though, right? Ooh. Sioux Falls? Or did they lose?
Won this week. They won this week, didn't they?
Oh, did they win? Okay.
All Central teams won.
Oh, that's right.
All Central
That's
teams
right.
won.
Okay, so this is their week to lose. All right, there you go. All right, this is it, folks. Monday Night Football. The LA Lycans on a 2-game winning streak at Vancouver, a team that has dominated that division. Nate, how's this Monday night game going down?
I think Vancouver still has their number. Give me the Legion.
Justin.
Which side? The Blackwells? I'll go Vancouver.
Vancouver. Tyler.
Give me Canada.
Give me Canada.
Canada. Hey, all right. You got the last word tonight, Marcus. Who you got? LA at Vancouver.
So I'm gonna go with Vancouver. I think LA's rise that they got going on right now is fantastic, but I just can't bet against the history that Andy has with that Vancouver team. More times than not, they are a tough team to face.
All right, folks, there you go. There are your pick'ems. We'll see how these guys do next week when we update the pick'em standings. But in the meantime, apparently I'm skipping all kinds of shit. Hold on. It's time to get out of here. And just, like normal, right on time, about 90 minutes as usual. Freddie, where you at, bro?
Hey, I'm always here as always.
I just want to make. I know one of these days the show's gonna go so long, I'll be like, Freddie, go ahead, and it's gonna be fucking crickets.
Yeah, Freddie be snoring, won't he?
Well, as long as you can snore to the tune of "Turn Out the Lights, the Party's Over," I think we're good.
All right, well let's go with my good buddy Dandy Don would say, "Turn out the lights, the party's over." They say that all good things must end. Let's call it a night. The party is over. Until next week, where we'll party all down again. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Freddie, thank you for that. Thank you, Freddie. Thank you, Gunny. Thank you, Bullet. Thank you to Dion Hawkins for popping on. Thank you to the panelists tonight, Nate, Justin, Tyler, and Marcus. Appreciate all the party people. This is what happens when I don't have to leave out of town. We go even longer, folks. I don't know what to tell you. Is it possible to do this show in 90 minutes? It is not. So whenever you're here on a Tuesday night to see us at the Tees, tune in at 9 p.m. on Tuesdays on Twitch, and bring a lunch. Bring a snack, bring some beer, because you're going to be here for a minute. That's just the way we roll. So until next week, everybody be safe. Enjoy your Week 10 SFL games. And in the esteemed words of Mike St. Green, see you next Tuesday.